This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Hello. You might call it another inflection point in the homelessness problem that has plagued San Francisco for decades. A federal court is deciding whether or not to allow the city to sweep encampments off the street. And as you can imagine, people on both sides are just fired up.
Housing is a human right. Housing is a human right.
Right now, the city is banned from sweeping encampments after being sued last year by the Coalition on Homelessness. And while that's still in place for now, there is word of a possible compromise when it comes to people who refuse the help that they're offered.
If we have a place for someone to go, they need to go. There has to be accountability.
It's very weird because it's like I'm not used to this inside environment that they're giving me. You know what I mean? It's like I want to be somewhere where I'm comfortable.
Our Lauren Toms was at today's hearing and has more from both sides of this debate.
A head-to-head battle between San Francisco and housing advocacy groups over whether to allow clearing of homeless encampments. James Jackson has been at the center of this debate. He used to live in a tent on the corner of 5th and Kearney.
In the snow, I stood on a street corner that was long in a line that went all the way around the block just to get a plate of food. Then I had to wait till the sun goes down so I can find a place I can sleep without somebody trying to hurt me.
Today, he lives in public housing across the street from the San Francisco Court of Appeals, where judges heard arguments over whether to overturn an injunction that for now restricts the city from moving unhoused people off city sidewalks. The city feels its hands are tied, dealing with an issue that's driving away businesses and has left residents fearing for their safety.
This city is being taken advantage of, and we are tired of it.
Jackson says forcing unhoused people to flee a temporary encampment doesn't help the greater housing issue.
If you can find me a better place to live, I'll give you my tent. But you walk around here with the law and take it from me, that's not going to help.
At the center of the debate is whether the city has enough shelter beds for the unhoused. According to city data, roughly 3,400 people sleep in shelters each night, while about 4,400 sleep on city streets. Advocacy groups say the city is not equipped to provide more shelter and therefore should not be forcing people out of encampments.
So when the public is rightfully frustrated that we still have a street homelessness crisis in San Francisco and the crisis is getting worse, we have to look at what the city is actually doing here. It's moving the problem from block to block rather than providing the ultimate shelter and housing solutions we need.
But the city says it often encounters people who refuse housing options.
You only need to look outside the windows of the Ninth Circuit Courthouse to see what this impact has been.
City Attorney David Chu says they came to a significant compromise in how to handle people who may choose to live on the street.
They conceded that if you refuse housing or if you already have shelter elsewhere, you should not be considered to be involuntarily homeless. That was a major concession.
For Jackson, his housing solution is only temporary, but he's grateful for the roof over his head.
So it was the federal judges in today's hearing who got the city and housing advocates to agree about limiting homeless sweeps unless the city first offers shelter. So the case now goes back in front of federal judges tomorrow. So we've been talking a lot about businesses leaving San Francisco recently, but today a brand new IKEA, well, it opened its doors in mid-market. The line was down the street at Market and 5th ahead of the store's opening. Some people even showed up before dawn. We talked to the very first person in line who camped out.
I wanted to come early just to check it out, be the first to arrive before everyone else. I just wanted an early glimpse of it. I am in need of a dresser and a bed.
So the store has already hired 100 employees and plans to hire even more. But amid the day one IKEA excitement, there was a bit of a hitch. One of our coworkers was inside around 4:30 today when alarms started going off and shoppers were escorted out. Firefighters did respond, but it appears to be a false alarm. The store's burglar alarm also went off by mistake last night. Okay, so meantime, a live look outside over the South Bay from our Black Mountain camera. A warm one outside, especially in places that really aren't used to it. We're talking about San Francisco. So Paul Higgins here to let us know if we're going to see more of this.
We'll start to back down a little bit tomorrow, and by Friday, we'll be back to exactly normal temperatures. So like every heat wave so far this year, pretty brief, but it was the hottest day so far in 2023 for both downtown San Francisco and for San Jose. San Francisco topped out at 86 degrees. San Jose got up to 95 degrees, 1 degree hotter than that in Santa Rosa and in Livermore. Doesn't even rank in the top 10 for the hottest days so far this year in those two locations. Even along the coast, though, Pacifica managed to climb up to above 70 degrees. That is a heat wave even in late August. Temperatures right now have backed away from those highs earlier, but still showing 99 degrees right now in Fairfield. That might be the observation from 6 o'clock. May not have updated at the top of the hour. Mostly 80s inland with 70s around the bay and still low 70s along the coast in Half Moon Bay. Highs tomorrow will still be above normal. It's not as far above normal, reaching up to about 3 to 6 degrees above average, 70s around the bay with a mix of 80s and 90s inland. We'll fill in the rest of the map, talk about the cooling trend for Friday coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, see you soon. Thank you. All right, let's talk the Oakland A's. They just took another step toward their planned move to Vegas. The Chronicle reporting team owner John Fisher has submitted his relocation application to Major League Baseball and says he is not considering selling the team. So the A's still need approval from 75% of the league to officially make the move. All right, now let's get to the 49ers and some quarterback controversy in Santa Clara. Our Matt Lively joins us now to explain in today's Red and Gold report. And I even asked him, I said, is it controversy? And you said, oh, yeah.
Yeah, anytime the 49ers quarterbacks are involved and there's talk about it, there is controversy.
Okay.
It's been the biggest storyline for the 49ers this entire preseason, but it hasn't been a matter of who's starting. That's Brock Purdy. We already know that. Kyle Shanahan said Tuesday he was in no rush to make a decision on who would back him up, but things change quickly in the NFL.
Probably announce it before we play Pittsburgh, but not this game.
Oh, look! My nose!
So why are we playing Pinocchio? Because less than 24 hours after Shanahan said that, Sam Darnold was officially named the 49ers QB2, beating out Trey Lance for the backup job after solid showings in both of San Francisco's preseason games. Lance didn't practice with the team Wednesday. Shanahan gave him the day off after telling him that news, and the 49ers are now considering all options on what's next for the former third overall pick. The decision was a well-kept secret, even to Captain Fred Warner.
I don't know much about the situation, like complete honesty. I came out to practice. I saw there's only 3 quarterbacks out there. Trey's not out there. So, I mean, I'm trying to ask around what's going on. There's not a clear answer right now. Obviously, love Trey. I don't know what's going on with him right now or what's going to be next. But with the QB stuff, I'm honestly not even sure what exactly is going on. So.
Shanahan did say he wants to keep Lance comfortable. He would love to have him here, but Jules, all this drama, and we aren't even out of the preseason yet. We still have another game.
We have another preseason game, and that'll be an indicator as to who's going to be the quarterback or not.
Brock Purdy's definitely the starter, and Kyle Shanahan even said Trey Lance could play. So usually if you're going to trade someone, you wouldn't play them. You don't want to risk injury. So it sounds like the 49ers do have legitimate interest in keeping Trey Lance here in the Bay.
Good insight, Matt. Thank you. All right, we are your station for 49ers preseason football. The final preseason matchup is Friday against the Chargers, and you'll only see it right here on KPIX. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Still ahead, activists in San Francisco taking street safety into their own hands at a dangerous intersection. Plus, a car so nice you'd want to keep it safe in the garage, but instead, one person found themselves speeding away from the police in a Rolls. Later, we're going to introduce you to the local man using his musical gifts to help kids fighting some of the toughest battles imaginable.